Hi, how you doing today? I'm just working on this table topper, putting the border on for my sister Karen with my wonderful Janome MemoryCraft 6500 Professional. Let me tell you a little bit about all the wonderful features of this machine. Let's take a look. It has variable speed control, which means I can go fast or slow. And let's take a look at some of the buttons. It has mode buttons. What does that mean? The mode button gives you the different stitches. Mode 1 is your utility stitches. Mode 2 is utility and quilting stitches. And mode 3 is utility and decorative stitches, including 7 buttonholes. Isn't that great? Now, over here we also have lettering, which means that this machine has lettering, 2 different styles in 2 different sizes. You can make your own quilt label, as you see, as I did here. I'm going to put this quilt label on the back of this table topper when I'm done. Now, let's continue looking on. Oh, you see this memory in, memory recall button? That means that you can combine some stitches or lettering like I did and put it into memory so that you can stitch it out later as many times as you like. And the memory out, you can retrieve it at any time that you want it. Now, ooh, this one's different. This is a twin needle key. This reduces the stitch width automatically to prevent needle breakage. And this elongation key, that gives you the ability to elongate certain stitches up to 5 times without losing the stitch density. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. Now, you see this little bobbin key? That's an independent bobbin winding motor. And you could actually wind a bobbin while you're sewing. Now, I haven't done that because it scares me, but a lot of people have, and I know it's a wonderful thing to do. Now, look over here, and we have the retractable thread guide. That means that you can place it down or up. Oh, and I forgot to mention there's a little hole here that you can put an auxiliary spool pin to. Now, I like this retractable thread guide so high because there are 2 large spindles on the back of the machine where you can put those large cones of thread. And what does that mean? That means that you don't have to keep putting another spool of thread in every time you want to start sewing a project. It's a wonderful thing. Now, let's go down here, and you'll see that it has the adjust the stitch width. This allows you to adjust the needle positions. Now, did you know that this machine has 71 needle positions? That's 35 to the left, 35 to the right, and do-si-do dead center. Now, this is the stitch length. This machine can go up to 5 millimeters in the stitch length. Now, you have the edit key. The edit key gives you the ability to edit program patterns. That means the stitch width, the stitch length, and elongation. Now, this one is the help key. That's question mark. But when it's in the edit mode, it will move the cursor over to the right. This button helps you to view alternative applications of certain stitches. And now I'm going to tell you all about this wonderful backlit LCD screen. All the information is on here about the stitch that we're going to do, the foot that you need, and the stitch width and stitch length, or as it's commonly known, the needle position. So let's take a look. Here it says we're in stitch number 1, and you can see that that's a straight stitch. It offers a suggestion of tension of 2 through 6. Now, I find that 4 works very well. We're going to talk about that in just another minute. It also recommends that you use presser foot A, which is an all-purpose A foot. It tells you your needle position is 3.5, and at this point, the stitch length is 2.2. Let's take a look at what happens when we want to make some adjustments. I'm going to go and adjust the needle position. If you just press this, you can see where the machine shows you that the actual needle is moving over to the right. Now, if we want to adjust the stitch length, we would press this button and watch and see how we can lengthen the stitch to our liking there. But, you know, there's so much more to tell you about this wonderful 6500 professional Janome machine. And now I want to tell you about the tension regulating dial. This regulates the upper thread tension. Now you can select it as high as you want to go, but 4 usually works really well. Now another thing that's so important, especially to quilters or to garment construction, is the presser foot pressure. Now what does that mean? That means that you can adjust the presser foot pressure on the presser foot, the height of it. Now also we have the indicator here, which shows you where you can make it the least or the most. And why is that important? So that you can introduce high loft batting or you can introduce delicate fabric. And now I want to show you how it has the industrial high lift. You see how I lifted the presser foot? Now you can lift it even higher. Oh, look how much room you have there, so that you can introduce the high loft batting or bulkier fabrics. Isn't that just wonderful? But even more so, you know what I find that is so useful to me is you have 8.8 inches from the needle to the neck of the machine, the base here. That they call arm space. And there's 4.7 inches from the top to the bottom. So it's a little less than 9.5, but oh, isn't that plenty of room? And that's important when the quilt starts to grow and you want to pass it through there. By pushing this lever over, you can raise and lower the feed dogs, and you can use that for free motion quilting. Now while we're here, let's take a look at the knee lift. The knee lift will raise and lower the presser foot. But you know, another thing that makes that so important, let me show you. I'm going to show you that you can pivot so easily. Take a look. We're going to stitch and I'm going to put the needle down and I'm going to go ahead and lift the presser foot with the knee lift and stitch again. Hit the thread trimmers. Take a look at how sharp that corner is. Now also, don't forget that this has a numbered thread guide with a easy access self-threading take-up lever. But first, let's take a look at some of these buttons. Oh, I love this one. That's the thread trimmers. Now, if you watch closely, I'm going to press this button, and what will happen is it will cut the upper thread and the bobbin thread at the same time, and on the back side of the fabric, you end up with less than a ½ an inch of thread. And that will save you time and money in the long run. In addition, we have the memorized needle up-down. Now, that's very important to me. When you press this, that means that every time you stop sewing, the machine will stop with the needle down or in the fabric. That's important. Remember when we pivoted before? That was crucial. Now, this is your locking stitch, also called a tie-off stitch. What happens is, when you press that button, after it finishes the pattern, it will lock off. Also, if you press that, you can lock off in the beginning and the end of a stitch pattern. That's wonderful. Now we have our reverse. Everybody knows that one. That's how you do back stitching and lock stitching. Isn't that wonderful? And another wonderful feature about the 6500 Memory Craft Professional is this gift box. This gift box has 13 additional accessory feet for this machine, which includes an even feed walking foot. Oh, I love that. I use that a lot. And a darning foot. This is also used for free motion, stippling, or basting. There's 2 quilting bars, a cloth guide, as well as a lot of other assorted accessories for your sewing pleasure. Now, you know what? I'm going to take the F2 foot, which is an open toe satin stitch board or a craft foot, and show you a combination of decorative stitches. I'm going to come over here and we're going to select the mode button. We're going to select mode number 3. Here's the mode button. I'm going to select mode number 3 and I'm going to select stitch number 23. In order to do that, you go to the keypad and just select 2, 3. Now, since I want to combine the stitches, I'm going to put it in memory by using the M key. Now, at this point, I could edit this stitch, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go under here and edit this stitch because I want to adjust the stitch width. I think I'm going to make this one 5.0. And I'm going to adjust the stitch length. I'm going to make this one 0.35. Now, if I want to make another one just like it and duplicate it, then I would just go back to the M key and hit it again. And I want to add another stitch, so this is when I would use the cursor, move it over to the right, and I could select the next stitch. My next stitch I'm going to select is stitch number 24. And again, I will hit the memory key. But now I want to select stitch number 24 again. I'm going to edit, so I'm going to bring the cursor back to the left underneath the one I want to adjust. And what I'm going to do is flip it. Ooh, isn't that fun? Now we're going to stitch it out. I'm going to move the cursor back to the very beginning, and I'm going to lower the presser foot, and we're going to stitch it. Now come a little bit closer because I want you to hear the magic of this machine. No, not that close. Listen closely. Oh, isn't that quiet? That sounds just wonderful. Oh. And if I wanted to, I could program this machine so that it would lock at the beginning and end of the pattern. But what I'd like to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and hit the locking stitch, finish my pattern. And as I said before, when you hit the scissor button or the thread cutters, then we'll lift the presser foot, and you can see very clearly now that you have less than ½ an inch of thread on the back side of the fabric. Oh, and something I wanted to mention to you too. It has angle scales. That's so important when you're going to do something like tumbling block. It has 45, 60, 90. Now you can see if you introduce the fabric at a 45-degree angle, your needle would penetrate the fabric at exactly 1/4 inch from the raw edge. Oh, that's so important when you're doing that type of quilting. But last but not least, I love this extension table. You know, something that makes this really important is this table supports the fabric or the quilt. As the quilt starts to grow and get heavier, the machine will not tip. You will have the fabric supported. In addition, it has numbered scaling here, which is your ruler, in centimeters and in inches. And it's easily removed or put in place. The best thing about the Janome Memorycraft 6500 Professional are the wonderful projects that you can make with it and how easily the industrial table supports those projects. Let's take a look. Look how easily this fits, and it is supported by the table. I just love that, don't you? Here's another one. You can see how beautifully it was stitched together and with such ease with the Janome Memorycraft 6500 Professional. Remember, life's an adventure, so enjoy the journey with the Janome Memorycraft 6500 Professional.